And we are live. Hello, Freelance Business Week. How's everyone doing? So far, so good. I'm definitely super fired up after the pro discussion panel. Over here, we have Vero Navarro, who's going to tell us everything about using design thinking in your business. So, yeah, Vero, I'll let you introduce yourself and take it off from here.
Cool. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you for the invite. I'm really happy to be with you guys, and hopefully you can learn something new today. That's my expectation. So let me see. Are you seeing my? Okay, there you go. Okay, cool. So, well, hello. Thank you for being here. Let's get the show started. As you know, we're covering the design thinking as a strategy for business and innovation. And this is the little agenda that I have for you guys. So first of all, of course, I'll explain who the hell am I. Then, of course, we will touch what is design thinking. Then we'll go to the methodology. And I'll portray some examples of how companies have done and used design thinking and their results. And of course, a little wrap up just to close the whole concepts and hopefully the biggest learnings from the session. Okay, so first of all, a little about me. I'm Beto Navarro. I'm originally from Ecuador. I have been here in the US for 20 years. And I have a creative experience of 20 years actually too as well. My little background is I worked in advertising and marketing agencies for many years, for around 5 years, and then around 5 to 4 years ago I switched to product design, which is user experience. Currently, I'm working as a contractor in Policy Sapien as an experience lead. And I have my own company called Uxurio, where I help entrepreneurs, small businesses with product design and try to bring the idea to life. And I'm big on the community aspects. So I'm a designer that like to share my experiences, and I'm an advocate of Friends of Figma Miami. I'm in the city of Miami right now. And Figma, if you don't know, is a tool for us product designers. That's how basically we bring things to life, right, with design. Then on my 20 years, I have worked with several companies in all industries, from food to technology, telecommunications, government, you name it. I think I have touched on most of them. And nowadays, what I do is product design. So basically, what I do is I work on SaaS, software as a service products. Like doing the dashboards. Usually, I have fallen into more in the fintech space. I have worked in insurtech as well, which is basically things that revolve about insurance and technology. And then, of course, fintech, which is anything that is finance. And related to technology. And of course, applications. That's the other thing that I have done before. And then just a little about my personality. I'm a geek at heart. I mean, you name it. I love Star Wars, Marvel movies, and stuff like that. I'm always drawing and sketching. I'm very fond about art. And I find discovery sessions really insightful, which is basically the core experience of what we product designers do. And of course, I love to share my experiences in public, just like I'm doing right now with you guys. I do miss the live events, so hopefully we'll get those soon enough, right? So, okay, enough about me. I hate talking about myself, but it's just a little introduction. And please feel free to ask questions on the chat if any questions come around, and I'll try to browse them and try to address them as they come. So how is it that large organizations like Apple, Microsoft, Nike are on the top of their game and disrupting entire industries? I guess that's why they're doing this, how they're doing this, right? And that's design thinking. This is the secret. how they're in the top of their game. And design thinking is what has enabled them to outperform other companies. More and more organizations are seeing the value of implementing the iterative method into their production process and service creation. And I highlighting the iterative method, which means like, you do something and you basically check and then you go back, right? This based on the results. And I explain this further. Okay, cool. But what per se is in design thinking? Kind of like, what is the core concept? So design thinking encourages organizations to focus on the people they're creating for, which leads to better products, services, and internal processes. So in other words, or plain English, it's a process that can help you develop innovative solutions based on the needs of your customers. And a very important thing here is innovative solutions. And I'm pretty sure you have heard the word about innovation, right? And that's because design thinking is the framework of innovation. You're wondering how to be innovative or how to be disrupted. This is it. It's because of design thinking. And this is how companies go producing products. And it's kind of like the framework to lead to innovation. And why is that? So design thinking brings together what is desirable from a human point of view and what is technologically feasible and economically viable. So we have these three core concepts, and basically desirability is more on the human aspect, meaning what makes sense to people and for people, okay? And then feasibility is more on the technical aspect, basically saying what is technically possible within the foreseeable future. So in other terms, what is technology capable of doing it right now, right? And then viability is more on the business side, basically talking about the money. And it's what is likely to become part of the sustainable business model. So when these three core elements connect, the center is where you find the innovation, okay? So don't try to make the mistake of BMW. And this is pretty funny because imagine, riding in this motorcycle with a roof that supposedly needs to protect you from the rain or water, but regardless, you will be getting wet, right? Regardless of if it has a roof or not, you will be getting wet on this motorcycle. And the core thing about this is that you need to think is that life is too short to build something that nobody wants. So try to always prove or bulletproof your idea before going to market or putting out on the public. Because basically, when you do something that nobody wants, basically you just lost money, right? The core concept is always you put something on the market and you get some kind of return. But if nobody wants your product, I mean, it's just a waste not only of time, of money, but of time as well. So now the core methodology, right? What is basically design thinking? So the most important thing to think about design thinking is that it's a mindset. It's not really a toolkit or a series of steps. Although I'm going to show you some steps, but take this as a mindset. Like how can I kind of take this idea and bring it to life, right? So the first thing that you need to understand is that you need to empathize. And with empathizing, it means that you need to kind of like put yourself on the shoes of your target audience or your customers and try to understand what do they feel and basically what do they want. Like always separate yourself from the product or service that you're trying to provide and just try to understand the people that you're targeting in order to, to make this service work. Then after you understand your core audience, right? You need to define the problem. So like from all the people that you probably will talk and try to understand, you will define kind of like the main problem that all these people are having. And then when you have the main problem, you can come up to a solution for it. And basically that's the purpose. And this phase is basically your understanding, right? You're understanding your audience, your target, your user, or whoever you want to reach out. After defining the problem, then you start the ideation part, which is basically means you come with multiple solutions. Like you start like tackling the problem with multiple solutions. It doesn't matter how maybe stupid they can be, but just try to, arrange up solutions. And then what happens afterwards is that you grab one or two of these solutions and then you prototype, meaning that you need to make something tangible for someone to actually try it out. So once you have a solution, you prototype it, meaning that you bring it kind of to life in a low fidelity, meaning that it doesn't need to be like, blown out and super like good to go. It just needs to prove the idea that you want to try with the solution that you have come with. And this is the exploration process. So you're exploring different solutions to the problem that you understood from the target audience. And this solution, then you start like testing. So when you start testing this prototype, now you gather all the data or all the feedback that you get from the target audience, and you will see what is actually working and what is actually not working with your idea, okay? And this is basically the materialization phase, when you bring ideas to life, okay? So I'm gonna go deeper on each of these, but this is kind of like the core structure of design thinking. Now, the first part, how do we empathize, right? So basically, we need to understand who is the target audience. In order to best serve your audience, you must first understand them, okay? You need to put yourself on their shoes. Why do these people behave the way they do? What problems are they experiencing? Why are things the way they are, right? And what is working well and what is not working well and why? In this phase, actually, the why is the most important question to ask. Why things are not working? Why are you having this pain point, right? And then inquiring with an open perspective and learner's mindset will help you better understand the world at large and how you and your business can contribute it in a truly meaningful way, okay? So what do they want or need, right? What drives them? What problems stand in the way? Basically, their pain points. So these two questions are the heart of the design thinking approach. Get really to know people, talk to your target audience, like really understand them, put yourself on their shoes, conduct user interviews, gather as much information as possible. When you know what people desire as well as clearly defined roadblocks that are in their way of achieving their goals, you can find and offer these solutions. So this is kind of like the money making, right? You find the core problem and you define this as the problem is the statement on the next phase. So remember, if I had asked people what they wanted, they would have said faster horses. And this comes from Henry Ford, the creator of the automobile, right? So it's not asking for them what do they want. You just need to kind of like gather the information and figure out what do they need, okay? Because if you ask them what they want, multiple people will tell you different things, okay? So you need to really understand where the situation they're living, and then you come with these solutions. So now the definition phase. What is the problem that you're trying to solve? So reflect on your observations, right? To get clarity about the specific problems you wish to solve. What common themes do you see? Group and cluster-like ideas. Then synthesize the information. This process will help you identify the most prominent problem that needs to be addressed. While you may want to, you can solve all customers' problems, because a lot of people has multiple problems. But in this part is that you find kind of like the common ground of all the people that you're like interviewing and try to understand, and you will start seeing patterns, right? Seeing okay, this is common in all the people that I talk with. So probably this is a common main point that we can address. And then again, center your energy in this impactful issue. Do one thing well versus tackling multiple solutions. Okay. The end goal of this phase of the design thinking approach is to convert the defined problem into the tangible human-centered statement, basically the human-centered problem that you're trying to solve, rather than focusing on technology, the money, or the specifics of the product. Remember, it's about the people you want to help. Remember, always separate yourself. It's not my problem, it's their problem that you're trying to solve. And then again, it's not your customer's job to know what they want, right? That's why you are doing this, to understand and trying to find that problem that they need to be solved, their pain points. So ideation. What are these possible solutions, right? So now that you have you understand your target audience, their wants, needs, and the obstacles that they're facing, now it's time to ideate these solutions. Brainstorm, think creatively. There are infinite solutions to solving any type of problem. Design thinking is a creative problem and is at its best at this stage. Remember, you're coming with solutions right now. Now you have defined the main problem that you're trying to solve, and now it's just brainstorm all these solutions that you can come up with. Challenge yourself to think outside the box. How can you solve the issue innovatively? How can you best serve the people in need? We must design for the way people behave, not for how we wish them to behave. Okay. Now the step 4, prototyping. How can you give your idea legs? Take your top idea, right, from the ideation and design a prototype. A digital or physical prototype springboards you from ideation to a material realm of reality. That's why you need to do something tangible, something that it can be, kind of like touched or tested. Creating a scaled down version of the solution in question allows you to get feedback from users in your target market. Critical to maintaining a design thinking approach. You will identify the solution best suited to solve the problem thought through trial and error. Okay, so now after understanding, right, you have understand your target. You have find the problem that you're trying to solve, and now you come with the solution. And now that solution that you have come up with, now you test it with a tangible solution. It doesn't need to be perfect. It's something just to give you the reins to learn more about the target audience. The idea that you come up with is actually something that they like, is something that they find valuable, or the solution, it really doesn't matter. It doesn't work for them. So all of these, you start gathering this data from the users, from the prototype. And remember, fail often so you can succeed sooner. So basically what this means, that this is the phase that you're allowed to fail as many times as possible, okay? Because you're just testing and you're trying to come with a good enough solution that you can, eventually launch that to the market. So now the testing. How do customers feel about your product? Test a solution or solutions by sharing your prototype with consumers and getting their feedback. It is an essential opportunity to make sure that everything about your idea is centered around the people who will be using it. Both positive and negative feedback is valuable here. Use the information to flush out the details of your design and redefine as it needed. Listening to the feedback is how you build the best prototype possible and ensures that the final product you launch is aligned with your target market needs and desires. Okay? So now this is the final phase. And not really finals, because once you're gathering data and you see, like, for example, what happens if your solution that you come up with, it didn't move your audience. So you go back and start like testing again and coming up with other solutions. Okay. And then have no fear of perfection, because you will never reach it. Okay. It is you need to just to test something that is good enough to make the idea, take the idea across. And once your audience will tell you that this is good or not, then you will decide that, okay, this is the way to go, and we can go with this with confidence up to market, whatever product it is. And then again, innovation is not a linear process, okay? Because everything is evolving phase. Then again, if you test a solution, you can go back again to the findings and start like iterating. So this is what it means to be iterated. You go back and start testing and testing again, okay? All these solutions that you're coming up with. So the design thinking approach is an ongoing process. So basically, it never ends, to put it like that. Even after you launch your product, it's imperative that you continue to observe and listen to the users. Their wants and needs may change, and you will then want to redefine your product accordingly. So a clear example of this is that, for example, imagine Facebook 10 years ago. It doesn't look like 10 years ago today, right? It's always changing, it's always evolving. And that's basically kind of like the concept of products, because, you know, times change, people change, and you need to keep up, right? So you need to start, evolving and, evolving with time as well, because your customer will change with time. So now examples. So make it more like tangible and why this is important. I would just give you some examples right now. Okay. The first one, P&G, Procter & Gamble. So in order to learn more about their users and the process of cleaning floors, the team visited their users at home to observe as they completed this chore. They noticed that people usually sweat before they mop, and that they spend an inordinate amount of time rinsing, and that it was overall a dirty job. And of course, the fact that mopping is an unpleasant chore is not unsurprising. I hate mopping, right? I hate cleaning. But however, the number of steps users took in order to mop and the clumsiness of the process meant the team had a challenge, design thinking, that could help solve. So basically, what was the challenge? It was find a better way to clean floors at home. Okay. Oh, got stuck. Okay, there you go. Okay, so the solution. In order to improve the process, the team needed to create a product that will cut the amount of effort and time spent in half. The product will need to be able to both sweep and dust and rinse away the dirt at the same time. Okay. So the result this resulted in the creation of the Swifter mop, that I'm sure that a lot of people have it at home, because I have one too as well. A product based around the design principle of a fast clean. It turned a time-intensive and demanding chore into a fast and simple task that made it easy for users to quickly clean and dispose of the dirt without getting their hands dirty. And the picture that you see here is the prototype. It's actually the first ideation of how the mop could work, okay? So the results. Swiffer was one of P&G's most successful and popular product launches. It generated over 100 million of sales after selling more than 11 million starter kits within the first year. Imagine that. By taking the time to understand the pains their users had to go through to clean floors, P&G was able to develop a product that both helped customers in a much needed way and revitalized the cleaning industry. Okay, so you see what was the challenge and the solution, right? So basically, PG disrupted the cleaning industry. Now another example, Airbed and Breakfast, or better known as Airbnb nowadays. So the idea for Airbnb came to co-founders Joe Gebbia and Brian Chesky Well, they were trying to figure out ways to make some quick cash to pay their rent in San Francisco. Once they put up their first iteration of the service, inquiries around the world came in from people asking if Airbnb could feature their homes for travelers who needed a place to stay. But after launch of the platform, they were barely scraping on 200 a week of revenue, and basically they were in the verge of closing the site. So what was the solution? That was until the co-founder Joe Gebbia and his team took a closer look at the site and realized that it was full of low-quality user photos. So their own users were taking, photos, and those were the ones that were uploading to the website. And seeing a clear gap in their initial business model, they thought code solved any problem, meaning that they thought that they could solve any problem with just plain code. But they didn't see the actual problem that, images are very important for people to decide what they're saying. So they decided to visit each of themselves and replace the user-generated photos with high-quality images. And the rest is history. Basically, that was the simple problem to this, the simple solution to this problem that they found. It was better quality photos. Needless to say, they learned their average user was educated, younger, financially stable, and looking to stay in a comfortable and personal home environment instead of a hotel with many guests. Once they began catering to their users and what they wanted, the site popularity grew. Airbnb became a platform for users to become their own travel agents, renting unique spaces from strangers all over the world, and now it's $1 billion industry. Okay. As you know, Airbnb disrupted hospitality, right? So they disrupted the hotels with this new model, and it completely changed how people travel. Another one, Netflix. In the last decades, Netflix has placed its own path within the entertainment industry, using design thinking to stay focused on creating a personalized, groundbreaking experience for their users. First, they created as a web-based catalog to rent DVDs, right? Who remembers DVDs? I do. Through the mail. With it, Netflix made waves and ultimately disrupted the movie rental industry, causing movie rental business to close their doors. Who remembers Blockbuster, right? Or the small pop and mom rental businesses. They were killed because of Netflix. Now, what happened afterwards? In 2007, after conducting a series of streaming tests to understand the feasibility, remember what we talk about feasibility, like thinking of how technology can enable us to do stuff. So this is it. Netflix started by giving streaming video. Remember, this thing didn't exist, so they came up with this. So they started giving streaming video away as part of DVD subscriptions. This way, they made people get used to streaming while they kept on building their library of offerings. They brought entertainment to where the customer was, at home. So then again, now you didn't need to go to the store and rent a movie. Now can you just stream whatever you want from the comfort of your TV, right? So remember how it was back in the day. So then another evolution of Netflix. After they recognized that customers were hungry for more provocative content, in 2011, Netflix began create its own content, right? Like Stranger Things, Black Mirror, the Netflix originals. The shows were far too provocative for general audiences, meaning TV, but loved by the target audience, right? They found these several niches and they just did content for them. So leveraging technology and the recommendation algorithm, the company is now disrupting the cable TV industry in their groundbreaking streaming service. So first of all was Blockbuster, right? All the rentals. Now you can stream things at home. And basically now all companies are trying to play catch up with them. So in general, Netflix disrupted the entertainment industry as a whole. Okay. And then the last example that I have for you guys today, PillPack. Maybe a lot of people haven't heard of them, but this is a good example as well. Dealing with medication can often be a bigger pain than the element itself. Standing in long lines at the pharmacy, keeping up with expiration dates, making sure that you take this medicine with food or not. It can be overwhelming, right? And think of people that they cannot open the little container. So an online pharmacy called PillPack had a mission to make it easier. PillPack worked to build a prescription at home delivery system that takes the pain out of the whole process. So now they're taking the medicine to you. So how was the solution for them? So your doctor sends your prescription straight to the pharmacist at PillPack, who organize the medications, including the refills, over-the-counter drugs, vitamins, and supplements into a pre-sorted, personalized packet. So a little packet, that's where you will have all your pills for the day, basically. These tiny little packages are labeled by date and time and delivered to your doorstep. Every 14-day supply of medication fits neatly into a durable dispenser that is meant to become part of your customers' routines and fit seamlessly into their homes. So basically, you can grab up one of these packets and take it to work, or if you're going to travel, you can take the necessary amount of packets when you're traveling. So the results. So PillPack has revealed the massive potential of combining design thinking and the drug market. This simple innovation makes life easier for seniors who can be a bit forgetful and have difficulty with bottles, right? Younger patients with active lifestyles and chronic diseases can just pull as many packets as they need and go. So this small solution resulted, and it was named one of the best inventions of 2014 by Time magazine. And in June of 2018, Amazon acquired PillPack for $1 billion. Okay, so just put it out there. The owner must be really happy right now. So PillPack disrupted the pharmacy industry, right? Everything that is delivered to your doorstep and easy to take. So design thinking disrupts industries. That's kind of like the whole concept, right? Disruption, innovation, all of this. Companies are using design thinking to launch new products, improve upon products already on the market, and create entirely new companies geared toward exactly what the customers want. And that was the whole framework. What are the needs of the customers or the target, right? You come up with these solutions, and these solutions certainly can be disruptive, okay? So the examples: P&G disrupted cleaning, Airbnb hospitality, Netflix entertainment, and PillPack pharmacy. And there are many other examples, but they all use the same concept. So thinking, okay, we're talking about more freelancing, right? We are not a big company, or thinking of more a smaller scale, right? Or maybe we don't have budget to do research or build full prototypes. So how can small business owners use design thinking? So imagine that morale is low in a restaurant's kitchen, and these are just examples. The restaurant owner assumes that this is related to hourly wages or benefits, okay? Two expenses that he can afford to increase at the moment. However, the business owner uses design thinking and conducts user interviews in the kitchen staff. He works a few shifts and realizes that the morale is low, in part because employees prepare the same dishes over and over, and in part because their uniforms are itchy and uncomfortable. So what was the solution? New uniforms. Okay. Probably he doesn't have the budget to raise the salaries, but at least he can try to come up with other solution, at least to ease the pain, right? So remember, it's more a mindset. You don't really need a lot of budget. You can just talk to your friends or people that probably can can like the idea that you're having or the product or the solution, and just, start working from there. Okay. Another example. So imagine that a coffee shop wants to build a lunch business after the AM rush. The coffee shop owner isn't sure if this is a good idea or not. So she puts herself in the shoes of the customer. She walks outside to see how close it will be for other working professionals to walk over for lunch. She does a sweep of the neighborhood, and she sees what other cafes are offering on their menus as well, and which are the price points. So when it's clear that the closest offices are at least a drive away, meaning that probably it's too far away for them to go back to the coffee shop, she comes up with the idea of selling pre-packed lunches. So now customers can pick up lunch with their morning coffee. Okay. Another example. Imagine that a retailer sees a lot of foot traffic that doesn't return in sales. Okay. So a retailer is running an online promo and inviting people to take advantage of certain deals. Okay. And this generates a lot of foot traffic. People are coming to the store and seeing, trying to see the offers. But it's not resulting actually in increased sales. There's a lot of traffic, but it's not resulting in sales. So he's assuming that this has to do with the deal itself before following the actual customer journey. So then the business owner realizes his store layout is making it difficult for a new customer to find the product offered in the deal. So by making some changes to the layout of the store, the business owner capitalizes on the online to offline conversion. Okay, so now he's taking the path of the customer and just thinking like them. Why was my customers not able to find the deal? Okay. So one of the big advantages of design thinking is that it helps business of all sizes. Okay. Business of all sizes to break out of the unproductive cycles and business as usual ways of thinking. So remember, sometimes there are industries that they have a standard. Think of it, for example, the example of hotels, right? Like if you travel, you need to stay in a hotel. But then someone came and changed that concept of, no, we can provide people staying in another way, or we can provide people another way to actually build their travel plans, right? And they can stay at someone else's house that probably feels more homey. So these guys came and they just disrupted that industry. Okay, it's just the idea. How valuable is for a person this idea, and probably it can change a whole industry, like just having this idea. So the wrap up, basically, what are the learning points that at least you want to take with this session? So how can design thinking help you? So first of all, to better understand the unmet needs of the people you're creating for, the customer, the clients, the users, you finally need to understand the customers, right? You need to be on their shoes and feel them, to empathize. Then reduce the risk associated with launching new ideas, products, and services. So please don't waste money because your gut feel says that this thing is going to be a major hit. Test it. Try to first prove it that it will actually work, and then go ahead and launch the product. Then go ahead and invest the money that you need to launch this product. This will help you save money. Not only save money, but saving time as well. And saving basically a product that nobody wants. Okay. Third, generate solutions that are revolutionary, not just incremental. So basically disruptive solutions, right? That they can shake whole industries as a whole. And then learn and iterate faster. This process let you fail on your ideas, but from these failings you learn what failed and how can you make them better. Okay, and then eventually you will launch the product after this process of iteration and failing. Okay. And remember, your intention for business changes when you view it through the lens of the customer. Okay. Remember, you need to separate yourself as a business owner, as a freelance, from what other people are perceiving from your product or your service, you know? And this is human-centric design, okay? It's centered on a person. It's not a number. It's an actual living person that you're trying to center a service for. So this is human-centered design. And this is design thinking. Okay. And thank you. This is my talk for today. If you want to connect with me, these are my links on LinkedIn or my email. And if there's any questions, please let me know. And thank you so much.
Thank you, Beto. We don't seem to have any questions for the audience, probably because it's in the early afternoon, but this was awesome. I am very, very taken aback by, one, how great your slides look, two, that you're very, very knowledgeable in design thinking, and I honestly feel like I just got a masterclass on it. So, so thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, do you have any question? Probably.
One question for me would be how are there any advantages to teaching? For example, I'm a freelance. I'm a freelancer myself. Are there any advantages to teaching, to instituting, basically informing clients about design thinking practices, especially as you serve them and you show them what your process is like?
Yeah, I mean, you can clearly see examples of why this is important. Because, I mean, I think a great selling point, if you want to kind of like sell the service or sell the idea, is that it will save money, basically. Save money and save time, which is like essential core things for businesses, right? They don't want to lose money and they don't want to lose time. So a lot of, all the industries and all companies, they just want to launch, and they don't care about the price. But if you tell them that it's better to, kind of like test the idea first before launching, because, they can launch and probably nobody will like the service or there will be problems, right? So it's kind of like a problem-saving solution. Like if they finally launch something that hasn't been tested with actual people, with the actual customers or the actual target audience that they're having. So you can sell the idea as well. Or you can just apply it to yourself as a freelancer. Depending on the service that you have, think of it of what are people liking, and this is something that probably can add value to yourself as what type of services you're giving, right? Because people think that probably as a freelancer, I need just to do a job and they pay me and that's it. But add some value to it, because that's basically how these clients will come back to you. Don't think of just doing one shot and that's it, I get paid and bye-bye. But try to think of giving a value to your client of how they can come back to you for more business. Because, okay, this guy Livio knows and he knows his thing, and he adds value to my product that other people don't add. So try to sell that to as well. And this is a way that probably you can add some value to whatever service you're doing.
It's fantastic. It's fantastic. Well, what are some of your? Do you have any like favorite books or thinkers around design thinking?
Yeah, you can
consult.
Yeah, you can always check this website called IDEO, IDEO, which are basically the people that came up with this methodology. And you will see like all the cases that they have worked on, and you will find like it can be applied to any type of industry. It doesn't need to be, because a lot of people relate design thinking just to technology, but really it can be done on any kind of field. From education, from business, from banking to telecommunications, for any type of companies or industries. Then you can learn maybe something from lean agile methodologies as well, because this is kind of like the framework of product management. So you can look into that. And then just look for design thinking examples in general. You will find a lot of those online. But depending on your business, probably try to, design thinking for whatever industry you're in, and probably you will find some kind of example out there.
It's awesome. Well, I don't have any more questions for you, but this has been amazing. I very much love your talk, and hope to have you around for next year, or maybe see you in Miami as well. So
yeah, for sure.
Until then, I think we're ready to end the broadcast.
Okay.
And I have to say many thanks for being here, and I'll see you around.
Okay. Thank you so much.